Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. Today we are talking about the absolute backbone of the Indian economy, the micro, small, and medium enterprises, or as we all know them, MSMEs. Now they've always been a huge deal, but a really big policy shift from the government is about to supercharge their growth like never before. Let's get right into it.
But first, let me ask you a question. Can you guess which single sector in India provides jobs for over 11 crore people? Just let that number sink in for a moment. It's absolutely massive.
If you guessed MSMEs, you are exactly right. With over 11 crore workers, they are the second biggest employer in the entire country, just behind agriculture. I mean, this isn't just another industry, it's the very livelihood for a huge chunk of India's population. In their impact? Oh, it doesn't stop with jobs. Far from it. When you look at the economy, they're a total powerhouse, contributing about 30% to India's entire GDP. But here's the stat that might really blow you away. MSMEs are responsible for a whopping 45% of India's total exports. Think about that. Almost half of everything India sells to the rest of the world is coming from these small and medium businesses. Incredible.
So when you see numbers like that, it's pretty obvious why people call MSMEs the economic backbone of the country. And that is exactly why this recent, pretty fundamental policy change is such huge news, not just for the business owners themselves, but really for all of us.
Okay, so what is this game-changing move? Well, at its heart, it's a brand new definition for what officially counts as a micro, a small, or a medium enterprise. Now, that might sound like a simple bit of administrative housekeeping, but trust me, it's a strategic move designed to help these businesses dream and grow much bigger.
See, the old system had this major flaw. The limits for investment and turnover were so low that businesses were actually afraid to grow. It sounds crazy, right? But if they got too successful, they'd cross a line and lose all the crucial government benefits they relied on. Now, those limits have been massively expanded, basically turning that fear of growth into a real incentive to scale up.
And we're not talking about a small change here. The scale of this is amazing. Just look at these numbers. The investment limits, they've been boosted by 2.5 times. And the turnover limits, they've doubled across the board. For example, a medium enterprise can now have a turnover of up to 500 crore rupees and still get all those MSME benefits.
So here's the big takeaway. The most important thing to understand is that these new definitions give businesses a much longer runway for growth. They can invest more, they can earn more, they can expand their operations, all while staying safely under that MSME umbrella. That old fear of growing out of government support, it's pretty much gone.
Now, to really get why this is such a game changer, you have to understand the kinds of massive hurdles these MSMEs are up against every single day. This policy change didn't happen in a vacuum. It was a direct answer to some very real and very persistent problems.
And the challenges are relentless. You've got the credit crunch, which makes getting an affordable loan a constant battle. Delayed payments from bigger clients can absolutely kill your cash flow. Many are struggling with a technology gap, all while trying to fend off intense global competition and deal with a heavy compliance burden. It's a really tough world to operate in. So, apart from just changing the definitions, what else is the government doing to help? Well, there's a whole ecosystem of support out there designed to tackle these exact problems we just talked about.
This support system has a lot of moving parts. For instance, priority sector lending, or PSL, that's a rule that forces banks to lend a certain amount to MSMEs. Schemes like the CGTMSE go right after that credit crunch by offering loans without needing collateral. And something like the Treeds platform, that's a slick, digital solution built specifically to fix that huge problem of delayed payments.
Okay, that was a lot of information. Are you ready to put it to the test? Let's take a look at an actual question from the 2023 UPSC Civil Services exam. This is a great way to see how this knowledge gets applied when the stakes are really high.
All right, here's the question. You've got two statements. The first one says, according to the MSMED Act 2006, medium enterprises are those with investments between 15 crore and 25 crore rupees. And the second one says, all bank loans to MSMEs qualify under the priority sector. So, which of these is correct? take a second and think back to what we just went over.
Got your answer locked in? All right, let's break this down together and see how you did.
Let's start with statement 1. This one is definitely wrong. That 15 to 25 crore range, that is old news, totally outdated. As we just saw on the chart, the new investment limit for a medium enterprise goes all the way up to 125 crore. So that first statement is out.
Now how about statement 2? Well, this one is spot on. It's correct. Remember when we talked about the government support system? A core pillar of that policy is the RBI rule that all bank loans to MSMEs fall under priority sector lending. So, when you put it all together, only the second statement is correct, which means the right answer is B. Hey, if you got that right, fantastic job. You're already thinking about this stuff at a really high level.
Okay, so let's zoom back out for a second and look at the bigger picture here, the road ahead. Because this policy shift is about so much more than just updating some numbers in a table. It's about fundamentally changing the entire growth story of the Indian economy.
The ripple effects here could be huge. We're talking about more companies finally being able to expand aggressively without that fear of losing support. That, in turn, should kickstart a whole new wave of investment and, most importantly, job creation. And all of this works to boost our exports and make the entire economy that much stronger and more resilient. So, the next time you hear someone talking about MSMEs, remember this: they aren't just small businesses. They really are the central pillar of India's entire growth story. And now, with these new rules in place, the real question is, just how much higher can that pillar actually reach? Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.